One thing that was important to me about SAFE was that we have as many diverse voices within the Black British male community. So I wanted to make sure that the book wasn't London-centric. So I made sure that I tried hard to get people from like Liverpool, from Manchester, because we couldn't have a book about Black British men and everybody's from London. It just wouldn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read an extract from my essay, which is called "They May Not Mean to, But They Do." My dad returned from New York when I was 11, and my entire family thought it was my dream coming into reality. But by morning, my dreams were always forgotten, and there wasn't ever any attempt at recollection. Everyone was excited, the secret being forced back behind the grinning teeth of everyone who knew. I've never had so many relatives smiling at me. I was aware of what was coming because I understand tree, but pretended I didn't. I had never really longed for my dad to return, but I knew there was some sort of status attached to having a mum and a dad, so I welcomed his homecoming, a quagga. It was theatrical. There was a knock on my aunt's door, and I was told to go downstairs and open it. The flats in Broadwater Farm, Tottenham, where my aunt lived, were upside down. When I opened the door, my Uncle Dave was stood in front of me with a stiff smile. I've got a surprise, he forced out of his pursed lips, and then, ha! My dad stepped out in front of me with a smile on his face as if he'd made my day. Had I developed my adult mannerisms at the time, I would have demurely just said, "Yeah, you're right, yeah." But instead, I said nothing. They both probably thought I was shocked. My dad picked me up and bounced me a few times like I was the child he had left behind. 10 years had passed. My friend, you're too late. My dad came and went, and slowly he became David. The transition from filial respect to first name basis went unnoticed, and by the time I was 14, I struggled to dredge up any respect for this man who treated our house like a hotel and carried himself like a lodger in a home that was supposed to belong to his family. Our relationship was non-existent, but I never went so far as to outright disrespect him. He was still my dad, and as a child, I still experienced a slight thrill and a sense of pride when I made him happy. But that wasn't often. David had a way with his hands. His feints and jabs would send my thoughts back to Suffolk and better times. My foster dad was a gentle and calm man. He dragged his feet when he walked, the sole of his slipper rough against all surfaces, so we always knew when he was coming. And he took his time, sometimes 5 minutes to walk from his garage to the living room. He was a lot older than my foster mother and a lot weaker. I used to give him head rubs, scratching my nailless fingernails over his bald head while he relaxed and told me stories of Sinbad. He never raised a hand to me, so I was heartbroken that the rough hand wiping tears was now replaced by the one that caused them. Most of my punishments I can't remember, but the one that has stayed with me and made me question my place in the world and my sanity is a slap David gave me, I thought, unfairly. In the afternoon, my cousins had come over, and when they were leaving, I pointed my finger at them. I wasn't serious. I was sad they were leaving, so did whatever came to mind to engage them as they left. When they got home, they told their mother I stuck my little finger up at them, and this was then relayed back to my mum. My mum told my dad, and when he got home from work, I was told to stand still in front of him. I had no idea what I'd done, and was thinking that some bad news was going to be broken to me gently. A few seconds passed, and my dad slapped me across the face as hard as he could. I fell to the floor with my cheeks burning and my head spinning. Confused, I looked to my mum for help, but she gave me that look, the look from the train with her lips tight and her brow furrowed. She was angry at me too and had no sympathy. I crawled away, crying. I heard my dad saying something like, because of my rudeness, my aunt won't let the kids come here again. I reached the kitchen and headed to the back door. It was nighttime. I sat on the stoop and looked up at the darkness and stars. I had never seen them before. I appreciated them. I wondered how long they would last and how long I would last. One day, I and the stars would die. Death was real, and suddenly, so was I. Thank you.